live. We're blurry and we're live.
We're live.
But we're still happy as well because last week, only a week ago, Ymir week in human time and Ymir turn in game time.
Yeah.
We received the gift of victory.
Yeah.
From we didn't receive it. We fought very hard for
it. But it happened.
in our game of civilization in which we were playing the Persian Empire. We were playing Cyrus the Great, taking him all the way through history. Well, not all the way through.
Not all the way.
Through a good portion of it.
Yeah. After the 19th century,
basically. I think it ended actually in 1919 or 1918.
Yeah? Yeah, very early in the 20th century.
Very early in the 20th century. The end of the Great War and the end of the
yeah, that's where we were at.
Basically, the end of all hopes for other civilizations that were in our game.
Yeah.
Because we achieved what sort of victory did we achieve?
We achieved cultural victory.
A cultural victory.
We achieved the cultural victory.
Yes.
After about 34 hours of streaming.
Yeah, for sure. More than 34
hours.
Yeah, because sometimes we actually went across our own policy of 2 hours of playing. We actually did one more turn and one more turn.
Yeah. So basically, we are going to be doing a small recap stream now to talk about the best moments.
Yeah.
Talk about what we did.
Yeah.
So what did we do?
In our black background, by the way, this is not the game that we've been playing. It has the same players.
Yeah.
But it has it's on autoplay. It's a different world.
Yeah.
But we're just so if you see, for example, Athens being much more successful than it was in our game, that's correct because this is a new timeline of history.
Yeah. So let's.
We're gonna do. The idea is we are both doing a top 5.
We're both doing a top 5
best moments in those 34 plus hours of our lives.
A top 3 fumbles
and a top 3 fumbles, both. And then we're gonna just chat a little bit about some of the things that we're taking away from the playthrough that we've done. Some general things. We're not gonna redo entire discussions, are we?
No. But so let's give a little bit of context for those who haven't watched this. So what we did is we did a small series called One More Turn, where we played in the Persia for a whole seed game, and then we tried to discuss as much as possible, as many aspects of the game, historical or gameplay aspects as possible.
Yeah.
And this happened through like a series of episodes. It was happening almost every Thursday, like today.
Yeah. By the way, we don't have the stream open at the moment because we were streaming this. We're actually streaming right now as well.
Yeah.
So if you chat to us, we honestly cannot see what you're doing. That's because we just
we thought we would just record it live.
We're just recording this live for the feeling of it because we love streaming, so we just wanted to do it again. We could even open up Twitch on our phone, and if there are any pressing questions, we can actually still get to those as well.
For sure.
Right, cool. But the idea is we're running through this particular playthrough, and putting some highlights in our discussions. Okay, you want to take it first?
Yes, let's
take it from the top, or not from the top. Take it from the bottom.
So we're doing top 5 best moments of our 34 hours.
Yeah.
Civilization. My number 5 is making the choice of going for a cultural victory.
Okay, that is your the very moment of it, or just the fact that you did it.
Also the moment, but also because you were at that moment pressuring a lot. Like there is no way we can do it. It will take us forever. And I was like, no, I still want to be doing a cultural victory. So that's my number.
Can you
5.
Maybe explain a little bit about your thinking of why you thought. So I'll talk a little bit about this. Is also appears somewhere in my top 5.
Okay.
But so I won't talk too much about my side of things. But can you discuss your side of things? So why did you decide culture victory?
From a strategic point of view?
Well, if you from any point of view.
From any point.
I'm not saying that you had a strategy there.
Not necessarily. No, but I thought it would be the most interesting. It would be the thing that would give us the most possibilities to explore different things. So going for a cultural victory, it means you have to invest in monuments, you have to invest in museums, so that means you have to build more archaeologists. You have to build generally more stuff instead of units. And it would give us a better framework to work with rather than continuously going ham basically against other civilizations. So that's
sure.
that's more or less why I thought it would be cool. Also, I have my fair share of cultural victories in my own games, and I know that it seems like a bit hard, but at the end of the day, if we didn't really commit to it, and we had the wrong civilization to do it, we had the wrong government to do it, and the wrong approach to do it, but still we did it anyway, right? And if you commit to it very early, or if you decide that you're going for this, it's actually a relatively fast way to victory.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. It's a relatively fast way to victory. In a way, now thinking of it, it almost seems unavoidable that we would have gotten it.
No, not really. Not really. In the end, it might look like it. But
because really, we did not even need to take Brazil or biggest opponent.
No.
And it just the tourism just started pouring in so rapidly.
Yeah, but it started pouring in so rapidly, especially the moment we stopped fighting. If we kept fighting, then it wouldn't have happened inevitably because.
So that was the tourism spike we also saw towards the end of the game.
Yeah. So at our last episode, when it's up, you can see that we stopped fighting and then we generate almost 10 tourists per turn.
Right. So. Yes, which also, in all fairness, makes quite a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a very well thought out mechanic. It has a lot of numbers behind it, but from a mechanic point of view, I'm not contextualizing, but from a mechanic point of view, it makes sense that you're not fighting.
All right.
You generate tourism.
Yeah.
So
okay. Cool.
That's my number 5.
So my number 5 is also something from the late game. In fact, it's something from the very last episode, and it is us deciding to, because we run out of civics basically.
Yeah.
So us deciding to come up with future civics.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fun aspect.
That was a fun.
That was a little mini game that we built into it, and we came up with quite some interesting ones.
Yeah.
We came up with AI being deathless. You came up with
atheism.
Yes, atheism. Not so much social media, but
but we also said cyborgs.
Cyborgs, exactly. All sorts of stuff that you do see in civilization games now and again.
Yeah.
But for some reason have been moded out of this particular version of Civilization 6. That said, there is a lot of stuff on the horizon for Civilization 6. Because one of the things, the critiques that we've had of this game is how it deals with environmental approaches, of course.
Yeah.
And that is coming up in the Gathering Storm, I think it's called, the upcoming DLC.
Yeah.
For Civilization. So maybe more civics that are more integrated with actual stuff that we're seeing in the very near or immediate future.
In that vein, I want to make an honorable mention. I don't know if you have it on your list, but at some point we were discussing natural disasters. During the stream, like, it would have been cool if there is a natural disaster because now the environment is kind of passive.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that in the new expansion there will be natural disasters. And when I saw it, I was like, yes, we predicted this.
Yeah. I think it's not really my top 5 or top 3, but it is a general remark I think that we can have on the game. Are we being joined?
Yeah. Well, you didn't join from the beginning, but we are actually doing a recap video that we decided to stream it instead of just tape it. Basically. Yeah. This is what's going on.
So we're just sitting here discussing.
Yes. Okay. So top my number 4.
Yeah.
My number 4 was our archaeology discussion.
Is it? It's also my number 4.
Oh yes.
Yes, very nice.
So when we just went into the ruins and just kept looking at them and analyzing what are we looking at and then talking about what we find and stuff.
I liked that a lot too. So I liked. I mean, I looked at the archaeologist figure in Civilization 5 and 6. Civilization 5 was the first one that ever occurs.
Yeah.
And also, you know, the silly sort of artifact system. I've sort of looked at that myself already. But then we took it so much more further and we started looking at the ruins and we started like, what is this artifact in this particular bit of the ruins? And then what's that coming from? And then also, you know, the whole let's guess what artifact is coming up now game. It's ends up being super random stuff.
It's
from all sorts
random.
So it shows that there's this. Also, in attachment to that, by the way, I've outputted basically the game event files that allows you to output at the end of your session, and basically. By the way, it's a horrible event file.
It's not very great
compared to what you normally get in sort of an overview in Civilization. In Civilization 5 and even before that, there was always this nice world map which you could sort of track. Completely gone now. It's why did that? This was probably the best part of the victory, just sitting back and looking at it. Now you get this timeline, which is also only the most recent expansion that got featured into that, and this file, which is completely impossible to, unless I actually spent 2 hours on trying to decipher it.
Yeah.
Because like all the game data is not necessarily in there, but a lot of it is in there. But what is in there very prominently is every time there's a battle, it actually says battle fought by this civilization, and then you have to think really hard about with whom they were fighting.
Yeah.
But it thus says which was used by the archaeology system to create this and this and this and this basically item in the map. So it literally shows that more or less the game is keeping track of all the things that you're doing.
Yeah. And
for the archaeology system.
And this is how you end up with all these monuments in specific places that are like, oh, this is in our area, it reflects a battle that we fought. So it's a very interesting system in itself.
I think that is, and at the same time, I think it's so brilliant that they do it, that they let you create your own history.
Yeah.
And then it's at the same time, it's so wonky when it comes to the archaeology, to the artifacts that it's putting out with the little dino icon.
Yeah, and all the semantics of it.
All the semantic, that it comes from colonialism and only from colonialism.
Yeah.
And that it feeds into, and you have to have an archaeological museum first, and then
you can
build archaeologists.
Yeah.
And it seems like also like a step back in certain regards from Civilization 5, that just lets you output a lot of archaeologists that just let you basically explore the world.
Yeah.
And then also get diplomatic penalties if you excavate other people's cultural artifacts. Anyway, it's so great. For me, it is.
It's a brilliant system, but
it just embodies Civilization 6.
Yeah.
It is both brilliant and also very flawed.
Yeah.
So so I think that's fun. I also liked it because you ended up using it in your Tipsy 2 paper a lot.
It will be uploaded soon. The video from that.
Yeah. So that's a good number 4. So number 4. So number 3. Now you get to go again because it was our shared.
My number 3 is our this analysis of the cultural heritage Civilopedia entry.
All right, I know that you like that a lot. Why did you like that a lot?
First of all, I like bashing and ranting, so there's that.
Okay.
But also, it again, on this time, not the brilliance of the game, but it really reflected the problems with the game. And again, we don't know who wrote this piece. You can go find this in our VODs, and you can see what we're talking about. Particularly cringy, really badly written piece on cultural heritage, which at the same time, it tried to keep its distance, be apolitical, non-commentary, while at the same time being extremely political and taking a very strong stance about what cultural heritage is, and a very negative stance at the same time. So, I think it really reflects this Sid Meier's idea of, oh, look, we're doing this, and people can interpret it in any way they want it. They're free.
For me, it doesn't. So for me, it actually seems literally like they had an intern write this. So I mean, it's Sid Meier's idea, but it's like let the intern take Sid Meier's idea of apolitical fun and do something with that.
Yeah, which shows that they can't monitor this. It can't happen. This idea that we have an apolitical game cannot be realized, because when you're putting interns writing your entries.
But but that's the thing. So it was probably one of those things that it was one of those new things that came into Civilization 6. It wasn't the civic or technology in any previous one, cultural heritage. But I think that the sort of Civilopedia entries of previous games, of those things that were also in previous games,
Yeah.
they show a lot more balance, and they do show that if you think about it, then you can sort of thread this very precarious little little line between being, I mean, not successfully all the time, but a lot more successfully than with this piece, that's for sure.
It was not. It was completely unsuccessful.
It was. So for me, it is not in my top 5 because I, although I do enjoy a bit of ranting now and again, I don't enjoy doing it publicly because it's one of those things that I don't necessarily want to. We were just going at it. We were just tearing it apart.
I mean, come on, at the very least, we had fun.
Yeah, but we're having fun at the expense of somebody else's product. And
well, when a product goes public, it is open to
fair enough. That's it. I still felt I wasn't because of that.
Maybe
reason,
we were a bit overly critical.
Yeah, we were a bit. No. I think we were actually critical enough, but we were just harsh. We weren't charitable. So
you're number 3.
So my number 3 is. It's a bit of a weird number 3.
Yeah.
Because it is. I hated it as well at the moment, but I also was sort of the moment that I was probably enjoying the phase of the game that I was enjoying most.
Yeah.
It was basically when we were trying to build wonders, and they, like 3 times or 4 times, they were built by somebody else.
Yeah.
Pedro, or, well, likely, we didn't know at that point.
No, exactly.
Pedro or Harald.
Yeah.
I think. And I just got so upset every time it happens because I genuinely, I don't save scum Civilization, but I save scum it sometimes. When I do, it is for wonders. And I knew that I couldn't do it now, so I just got so upset.
Yeah.
But it's also the moment that I thought that, like, hey, we have to really, we're actually going, not happening with this game. We're going to go down in history as the backward nation with a couple of, that was maybe nice in their war with Greece, but that was about it.
But that was it. But no.
And so that was actually when I started thinking like, oh wait, this game is actually fighting back a little bit. And a little bit. Actually a little bit. Quite a bit. I was like feeling like, oh, this game is challenging me right now. So that was for me the hindsight, it was the most fun, although it was like when it happened. Yeah. So that was nice. Was my top number 3.
Right. You go for your number 2 then.
I go for my number 2?
Yeah. Which
So let's see, what was my number 2 again? It's basically, well, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna change my number 2 because I feel that my number 2 and number 1 sort of are the same. So I'm actually gonna change my number 2 a little bit to something that I also somehow it's a tiny moment in the game, but that I've somehow really clicked with me. There's this moment in the game that you have this thing pop up on your timeline, and it basically says, for some reason that you cannot explain or something, you have the feeling that there are no other civilizations to meet out there in the world. Remember this? Oh, so it's actually a little illustration of you standing on a ship, or somebody standing on a ship.
When you meet everyone, basically.
It's basically when you've met everyone.
Yeah.
And for me, this was always, in a civilization game, this is always a turning point.
Yeah.
It's strategically, it's often the turning point to the end game.
Yeah.
Or at least sort of the very, or towards the end of the middle part of the game.
Yeah.
But also it is like there's nothing to be discovered anymore in this world. With maybe like a city-state here or there.
Yeah.
And that somehow in this particular phase, it happened quite late in our series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, probably somewhere like 13.
Yeah, I don't know, quite late.
It really clicked, especially with the little illustration there. I felt like, okay, I think we discovered America. I think that was the last one that we discovered, or maybe Macedonia. And I was like, okay, this is it. Because interestingly enough, I think we both also forgot a little bit who actually was in the game.
Oh yeah, that's
because
true.
That was like
there was a point where like, how are we playing against?
Yes. So there was actually this. I mean, I remembered that we put like Greece in there. I remember.
Yeah, because they were next to us.
Yeah.
But then Macedonia, we basically never had. any contact at any point. We didn't
No,
even.
I think I also forgot about America somehow. I think because it's also reflected back to when we were doing that first stream where we were basically. I was trolling you a little bit with getting America in there and also getting Macedonia in there.
But it's funny how also, especially with Macedonia, we had zero interaction. We did nothing. We did literally nothing.
They declared war on us as part of an alliance.
Yeah, but
that's it.
But you know, if it wasn't for that, there was no actual interaction.
Yeah.
I don't think we even sent a trader. Maybe we did send a trader at some point, or maybe even not.
As a general remark, I often find that I think that Macedonia, if I remember correctly, is one of those warlike civilizations.
Yeah, but you have to get it early game. If it doesn't roll early
the
game,
AI is almost never successful at playing with.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, very interesting because I think as a player, it's a relatively straightforward strategy if you want to play it.
In many ways, it's similar to what we did. Like you can play Persia and Macedonia in very similar ways because you get different penalties reduced. You don't get war wariness, I think, from Macedonia, which is a bit counter-historical as well.
Yeah, because Macedonia was very wary of this war.
In the end, that's how they lost. So how they dropped down. So anyway, but no, but I get that moment is very interesting.
Yeah, but that was my number two.
My number two was the Hattusa crisis.
Okay.
The Hattusa crisis because we first of all I was mocked for my at that point strategical choice to. So let's see what happened. So at some point we are fighting, and this. We're fighting against the Greeks, I think, at that point, or against Saladin. I don't know.
I think we had just wrapped up our war against Saladin.
Yeah.
I think just wrapped it up.
Yeah, and we thought, maybe we need to stop fighting. We had 2 consecutive wars. It was quite intense, and then Brazil, Harald, invades a city-state, the city-state of Hattusa, and this is presented as a crisis,
as an emergency.
Yeah. So. In Rise and Fall, the first expansion of the Civilization 6, you get these crisis moments where a player who's gotten far ahead will have to fight against some difficult odds, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, so let's liberate Hattusa from...
So in fact, this was actually the game fighting back against its own AI, because it was actually saying, hey, Harold is actually conquering
pushing too much. Yeah. So we see... in the emergency panel that other civilizations are willing to join into this crisis. And then I say, perfect, we're going to split about 4,000 or 5,000 gold. That's great. With 2 or 3 more, it's going to be easy. And we join it. I'm like, yes. And then everybody else backs out.
Exactly.
And we are the only ones.
Because we thought, hey, we're going to be joined by
Brazil, which next
and
door,
they're basically going to do the war for us because we can't really reach it in time anyway.
Yeah. So then Silla goes on this like, lol, what have you done kind of situation. And then we embark on our travel to the faraway land of the Vikings. We get there, and the crisis gets resolved.
At the moment
we get there, we didn't even have to fight.
Because Brazil was in fact...
Brazil was at war with the Vikings, even though Brazil didn't join the crisis. So we ended up getting all the money for us for a war that we didn't fight.
Yeah. So this is not in my top 5, because although I think it was fun and it vindicated your decision, I think it only vindicated your decision because in fact there was something broken in the game that they stepped out of the alliance and then in fact ended up still fighting.
I think that we still would have gotten it though.
We will never know. This is what is history.
We will never know.
But also, it broke the game for me in the sense that we had one emergency that happened to us.
Yeah.
And then we actually managed to do that because basically we already broke the Greeks as soon as the emergency was.
And we had Carthage with us.
And we had Carthage that was basically massacring Saladin.
Yeah.
And so it was never a real danger for us, this emergency. And then this second emergency really basically broke the game in the sense that it sort of ensured that we would be victorious by just giving us like 3,000 gold.
Yeah.
And we already had quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, so we just skyrocketed.
So one thing that I do like about this whole thing is that basically that's when we started our war against Harald.
Yeah.
Which just lasted,
I mean, it was also the kind of a turning point of getting into this territory and basically going. We didn't found any cities there. We just conquered all the cities.
Yeah.
So we said, well, since we're now in there with all our army, we might as well fight against Harald.
Yeah.
And then we did, and we steamrolled him eventually.
Yeah. So it is a fun moment, but because it broke the game for me a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to my number one. And I
think
guess
we have the same number one.
So my number one, our number one both is our attack on Corinth.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is basically the first battle against non-barbarians, because who cares about barbarians? Apparently. That is in there.
Yeah.
And it is. So why do you like it?
Why do I like it? For many reasons. First of all, it sort of gave the tempo to our game.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, we got you into warmonger. We got the warmonger out of you, so we started fighting. So that was interesting. It really kept the pace in our game. Like, okay, we're doing a lot of things, but we also at the same time we have to keep track of this war. It gave us a lot of opportunities to talk about gameplay, micromanagement, units, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
I like the historical aspect of it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like because it is literally what happened.
Yeah, and
in real world history.
Yeah. And it's interesting that the Greeks, we didn't really provoke anything. The Greeks sort of provoked us and were like, hey, remember in actual history what happened? Now you see. Yeah. And then we went on against Corinth.
And actually, after that steamroll, Athens almost with a small bit in between, and then just ended up going and going.
Yeah, and then all the Greek cities were on the coast, more or less.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a natural progression. We went Corinth, we went to Athens, then we went to Pharsalos, and then we went to Sparta, all like in a line.
With their last holdout, Sparta.
Yeah.
Down in the south,
in the ice.
in the South Pole. And yeah, that was. I really liked that. That was sort of this historic moment that I mean, we put the Greeks in there for historic reasons.
We put them for this purpose,
but not really for this purpose either. Because you cannot really.
But you can't predict it. Yeah.
You can't predict, but you don't know if you place together.
No, exactly. But we were, and it was nice.
And it was also precisely the type of dynamics in which we were actually taking city-states.
Yeah.
That the Greeks thought like, hey, listen, this is
our
our city-state,
like,
which is also something that mimics history in the sense that the Greeks were like, hey, listen, Persians, not what you're doing in the inland, but the city-states they're on the outside, the Greek city-states, they're ours, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna rebel against them.
Yeah. No,
and it was really a nice follow-up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So for me, what I really liked is we were very apprehensive. Like, let's very carefully maneuver our units. Let's make sure we have this siege tower in there and this battering ram.
Yeah.
Hey, we got immortals now. That I also really liked. Was at the moment that we got our immortals.
Yeah, we started fighting basically.
And this signature unit of Persia, particularly of the Peloponnesian War, then we started fighting. And I think
the Persian War, not the Peloponnesian.
Sorry, the Peloponnesian. Sorry, yeah, exactly.
Too confused with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. All tea on the brain. That was, I think, was a lot of fun maneuvering everything, and actually getting quite a bit of pushback still from Greece. And we were like, we have to get these units in there. Wait to get them out. It took a long time before.
Yeah, we lost a couple of units, which didn't really happen later.
For sure. But what I also like is that I was not ready at all to go on this warmongering path. And you just pushed me there. Pushed me. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. You're right. And actually, this will also be fun for the stream.
Yeah.
We'll get a bit of, okay, we'll do it. And
then you went all out.
I just went all out and I just kept on conquering. And just started really enjoying that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time since I played a militaristic civ like Persia. But that also, by the way, I think really made me appreciate Persia because it is a very functional militaristic civ that still allows you to do stuff like build paradises.
Yeah, exactly. It has one of the most not broken, but overpowered overpowered early game units, and one of the best seat improvements, which is Paradise.
Yeah, exactly. No, really, I think that really shone through in that particular little moment of the game.
Yeah.
And what I also like is that I think from then on it already showed. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that probably of the two, you are a better tactician And I think it also because you play a lot of tactical card games and you play a lot of tactical games like
RTSs as well.
RTSs, and I think that you sort of mastered this because I thought like we're not going to win this, and I think that also showed that you had a very nice strategy for the game in mind. Maybe you didn't have it in mind, but you were sort of naturally evolving it. And in the end, you pushed me to say, "Hey, let's go for this domination victory."
And then we didn't do it anyway.
No, and in the end, I thought, okay, yeah, no, I will do the domination victory. But also at the same time, I think it also shows that little moment in Athens already that it is very important to, even for the cultural victory, is that we push, because we would never have gotten a cultural victory if we had not started conquering other cities.
No, we would need a completely different strategy then, and plan already from the beginning. Like, okay, because of this war, we made a series of choices that were counterproductive to a cultural victory, and we would need to change them to get there. But anyway,
for sure. So that, I think, for me was from the early moment in the game all the way until the end was something very, very signature for this particular series of series of turns and this stream.
Yeah.
I think honorable mention goes to, I think, just wiping out the Vikings and probably making Chilla cry a little bit because of that.
Chilla was very excited to have Vikings in the game. We just destroyed them. They had no chance. And in the end, we put their cities in good use.
Yeah.
I have to say, we didn't erase.
Their cities were way better than ours.
We didn't erase any cities. We kept all of them.
Yeah.
We tried to do this with as few casualties as possible.
Yeah.
But again, we didn't go for a peaceful game, and I think it was for the best to not go for a peaceful game.
No, I think so. Especially if you want to experience the full breadth of it. That is
exactly.
I think another honorable mention should be, first of all, the naming of units with Persian names.
That was great.
And then, secondly, I think also particularly the naming of Smerdis.
Yeah.
Who had this, this in real history, this kind of tragic story to his life.
Yeah, but he didn't die in the end, so.
In the end, no, but not in the game. But
but in reality,
yeah.
But then in the game, he got to live for 5,000 years.
Yeah, exactly, for 5,000 years, and in the end, upgrade to the special ops unit that we ended up never having to use.
No, but it was.
I think that this whole trajectory.
He earned it.
I don't think I've ever played with a unit in Civilization that earned this as much as Smerdis did, because there were a couple of very hairy moments for him, especially in the early game.
Yeah.
So who was your favorite AI in the game?
To play against from the ones that we played?
Yeah.
I have to say it's probably it was probably India in a weird way.
Okay.
Because it felt like they were playing smartly. They didn't engage in any war. They sort of got contained in the end in their own region, but they were really high up there. And if we had to go against them, it would have been a challenge. Not a really big challenge in the end, because nothing was a really big challenge. Like Brazil was probably the hardest one, but still, it felt like they were always relevant and they were always there. Without either pushing or getting undermined.
I liked actually that we were like, we're going to conquer your continent.
Yeah.
Not colonize your continent.
And then
which we did.
And then they did come to our continent and were like, what are you doing?
And the spot that we were saying, we have to settle there.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're settling there.
So I liked them.
No, I think India was very fun. Maybe would have been my top pick as well, but I'll then pick another one. I think what I also in the end thought was very smart was Saladin. Because Saladin basically saw the writing on the wall when he lost his first war against us.
Yeah.
And although he was clearly very unhappy with us,
he never.
Then, as an AI, stopped engaging with us at all.
Yeah, he didn't join any war against us.
And actually, I think did rather well on the religious victory front.
Yeah, although he wouldn't win. Because Brazil was gonna win, or India, I can't remember who was winning in that front, but he had his chance, definitely, and he played his cards right. So he said, look, I can't win in any other way, I'm not gonna fight these crazy Persians that are next to me because I'm clearly losing, so just go all out, which I guess Saladin will always play with religion because it's
Yeah,
kind of inherent to the civilization. But it worked.
But it felt to me it would be a sort of a natural.
It made sense.
Yeah, it made sense. So what made a lot less sense to me was, for example, Houdrada was always denouncing us and then liking us, simply because of the size of our fleet.
Yeah.
And it was basically always trying to threaten us into giving up our war.
Yeah.
Basically by offering us nothing in return, and then still expecting it. That for me was probably the poorest AI, but it also made it the most fun to conquer. Any other highlights for you?
Highlights for me. I would say let's go to the top 3 fumbles.
To the top 3 wah-wahs.
Yeah. So we had a couple of weird moments.
Yeah.
I will start with a minor one as number 3.
Alright.
But I felt really stupid when we didn't know how to fly planes. When we were like,
okay, that's a good one.
Where can we go? Oh yeah. Oh wait, can it land? No, it can't. And I was like, oh Jesus. It shows that we play the game in a different way usually.
Yeah.
And because you either win before that or you just don't use it as a war machine.
No. You say okay, whatever planes, that's nice.
Yeah.
Just sit there and we'll have
that was my number 3.
That's a good one. So I think my number 3 was, I think, me talking to myself for about 5 minutes. We were actually talking, but for some reason the audio hadn't picked up.
Yeah.
And you were in Greece.
I was in Greece, so we were doing this through Slack.
So, and I was like, blah 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 blah, and then I thought that Megalithic on the chat was trolling me when he said, "Yeah, you're talking to yourself." I was like, "Yeah, sure, haha." But then actually, I ended up 2 minutes after really only just talking to myself. Yeah. I think another aspect of that is us sort of not switching to the game again for about 5 minutes when we were already playing.
Yeah,
that was last episode even.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my my third womp womp. All right. So what is your second one?
My second one is what was it, 2 streams ago or last stream, that we were bashing poor Teddy Roosevelt.
That's
that's
my second one as well.
Oh, that's the wrong Roosevelt.
That's the wrong Roosevelt. We were bashing him for dropping the bomb, basically.
Yeah.
Which is also true, by the way. But I mean, we were bashing the wrong Roosevelt, and I think that's also my number 2.
Yeah.
Because it also, at that point, I really understood that probably we'd be saying a lot of stuff that was just wrong.
Yeah.
And we were called out by one of our fellow Civ fanatics, and also one of the followers of the stream, or via YouTube at least.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, this is not the right.
This is not the right thing.
And if he hadn't been there to tell us,
we would have like gone at it. Yeah.
To be absolutely sure, Teddy Roosevelt is the one that is actually, at the turn of the 20th century, he was an important political figure in America. Was important in 1898 war against Spain. Just a generally important political figure. Also for actually doing a lot of socialist type, or at least social reforms in America. So he's actually the Roosevelt or the president that we should probably like a lot.
Not completely hate in any way.
Yeah. Although I have to say that his Rough Riders unit, I looked into that as well, is just horribly worked out, because it actually gives you, I think, some sort of like culture. If you end up defeating units in your own continent. Really? That's what is the special issue.
Yeah.
So, and that's absolutely wrong, because the Rough Riders were in fact an expeditionary force.
Yeah.
They were an expeditionary force that was sent out to Cuba, which maybe is
it's considered
the
American,
continent and North America, but really that was just it was come on. So it's not that like, oh yes, we defend America. No, we were actually in a war of aggression against Spain there. That's another matter entirely. But still, sorry, Teddy. Sorry, Teddy.
Okay.
All right. Okay, number one is actually a secret one that didn't happen on stream.
Oh yeah.
But I had an issue with my PC during summer.
Yeah.
We were actually already in Greece.
Yeah.
And I had to literally reinstall Windows. And I was like, oh, shit, I have to reinstall Windows. It's going to take a long time. So I said, okay, let's just do this. Reinstall Windows. During the process, I was like, oh, shit.
The game.
We were already more than 10 hours into the stream. And I'm like, oh, please, I just hope that, because I just installed Windows and even check if it because I was like, I don't really care about the data that's on a separate disk. Huh?
Yeah, but what about the game
drive? But I was like, oh, maybe the game is actually saving this on the C drive.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, maybe we're losing, we can just make the decision that we're going to do this longer.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like a tense hour and a half later, I found out that in fact it stored everything on the D drive, and we could continue because it had also just become interesting.
Yeah. So that was a close.
That was probably my not so much 1-1, but whoops moment for sure. What was your top 1-1-1?
My top 1-1-1 was at some point we were discussing the Art of War.
Yeah.
And I was like googling some stuff to be on top of it, and then I just look at the screen, and I had the Wikipedia page open of Sun Tzu, and there was this statue of him in Japan for whatever reason, and then I go, yeah, Sun Tzu, a known Japanese strategist, and and then I couldn't say this anymore. I could because
it's recorded.
It's recorded. I'm like, God damn it! Now I look completely stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm probably there were worse mistakes than this, but I felt horrible for making that mistake. I was like, oh, damn it. So yeah, calling Sun Tzu Japanese. Yeah. That was my.
I had a similar moment with Saladin actually when I thought it was a different Saladin.
Yeah.
And those little things.
But these things can happen when you're playing a 34-hour game when you have to be constantly discussing different situations.
Full disclosure, we made a lot of use of things like Wikipedia and stuff like that.
A lot of Googling books.
And stuff like that because.
Look, admittedly, you can't know all this stuff, and there is not a single developer behind all of this. I'm sure the people who are making these games also end up doing it. A ton of Wikipedia, especially, and we know that. But yeah, we didn't. Yeah, there were a couple of fumbles in there for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's
and I think an honorable mention goes to our inability to recognize how exactly we need to use the range and melee attribute of the immortals.
Oh yeah, that
was completely confused.
Just in general, I think a 1-1 through the entire game is trying to figure out how this ranged attack works with Artillery. Like, oh, does it still have move? No, it doesn't have move. We were at some point we were just like, oh, whatever.
Things, just attack.
Just attack.
Yeah,
just do it. But yeah, that also happens because we didn't really want to spend too much time on trying to find the best game tactic and then make.
No. We just wanted to go through the game basically, through the motions, and just be able to talk about this. So cool. We ended up with a cultural victory.
We ended up with a cultural victory, and I think that was probably the best way.
Yeah.
So thinking about Persia as an empire, we've discussed Persia a lot in the streams. This was a very Persian game, right?
Yeah, it was a very Persian game. A lot of war and a lot of cultural development.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the historical empire of Persia is also very much marked by that, and I really appreciate it. And I think that's always the weird thing with civilization is that it gives you such few characteristics, like a unit. A leadership bonus and then just a general cultural thing.
Yeah.
And still it manages to make you play in an actual way that actually sticks relatively close to that particular way of playing for actual history. Mm-hmm. I think that is still. I mean, of course, there's all sorts of things that end up happening, especially if you go beyond the historical trajectory of an empire.
Yeah.
or civilization, or before the historical trajectory of any civilization. But I think it was very well done. I also had in Civilization 5, especially when they brought Venice in, that they just did done that so wonderfully that you could just play that one city-state, basically, and still end up with cultural victory in a line that would feel very Venetian. Anyway, it was. I think that was a really, really nice part of the game. Yeah. What other takeaways do we have from our 34 plus hour experience?
Well, one of the things that I really missed is that we never got to build Persepolis, right? There was never a Persepolis, and I don't know if Persepolis is part of the cities that you're building as Persia. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. If it's not, I can see why from like an archaeological point of view. But I would really have liked to talk about Persepolis. So that made me sad. Maybe we did talk about Persepolis at some point.
Maybe we should play a game that is about Persepolis. Are there any games about Persepolis?
No, there's a comic and a movie.
Yeah, I know, but no games.
I don't think so.
Interesting, because
there should be a backdrop in
by
something.
The way, Persepolis would make, I think, for an excellent setting for a twine game.
Yeah.
The politics of it, I think.
Maybe. I would have to think about this.
Yeah, you know more about it than I do, but from the outside of it, I think it's a fun.
But that was
I mean, that's a minor. But no, I mean general things. What are your major takeaways?
My major takeaways.
So I think one of the major takeaways that we just discussed is that with relatively minimalistic elements, in terms of traits, the game manages to mimic histories of real world histories. I think that's a victory of game design.
Yeah. No, for sure. And like my major takeaway is, which is something that it has been a process of playing games through that mindset, through this video games and archaeology mindset, is that it might be doing some. Yeah, I know. We have, by the way, we have our microphone completely hidden. I'm like, how can people hear us?
But they can actually still. Yeah, that's
anyway,
fine. Probably they were also hearing a lot of the.
That's anyway.
It's a nice little wait. Yeah, that's fun.
Anyway, sorry if you had headphones on and now you exploded.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully we don't have to do the stream again and be all like, yay!
Yeah, probably not. So my major takeaway is that for maybe video games do 100 things wrong in terms of history, in terms of representation, politics, diversity, what have you. But at the same time, there are so many things done right and so much potential and so much talent in the game development, in the ideas and things that we as academics would never had thought of, that it really shows why it is worthwhile both investing in making these games better, but also in studying these games as modern, modern products, materials, and material culture. So this is my major takeaway.
I think that's a really great takeaway. I think that because we've been critical, not hypercritical, I would say, but we've been critical.
We've been critical for the most part.
But it is, I think, a very well thought out game, especially from its mechanics. But then I would say that when it comes to Civilization 6, among the other Civilization series, I'm feeling a little bit of bloat in certain regards.
Yeah, it's not.
It's in certain mechanics of it.
Yeah,
but then also in how these mechanics are actually linked. So in terms of the overarching stuff, civilizations, world wonders that you get to build, but then I think, for example, it's really noticeable in the civics, or sorry, not in the civics, in the policies that you get to implement.
Yeah.
With that they're named so very weirdly, that they sometimes have these horrible historic connotations.
Yeah.
Like, what was it again? That military, basically expeditionary force or something. Anyway, there were a couple of horrible ones.
There were a couple of horrible ones.
And that they were just had really weird game effects that to me do not relate at all to the type of historical event or process that they were actually pointing towards.
And
I think that there's Civ, the core of Civ, that is just this amazing product of game design, which has more or less stood the test of time.
Yeah.
From Civilization 1 not saying that Civilization 1 is already the best game, the best that no, clearly not.
No.
But then there is this subcurrent of stuff where I think, ooh, this is actually, I think, where it would be a lot better if Phyrexis would be reaching out more to the academic community.
Yeah.
And they can actually help with these smaller things of it. And that they end up feeling less weird.
Yeah. I think so.
So I think that there's a general potential for making this game even better. I think another major takeaway is that clearly this game is not by any stretch of the imagination apolitical.
No, it is not apolitical.
It is political from turn 1 until the last turn.
Until like whichever way you choose to play it, whichever way you choose to see it. Yeah, you have your agency as a player to make your own history, but it's make your own history within this framework, within this mindset. You can't go outside of it, and we've shown several examples of this. I think one example that really illustrates this is this idea of free cities. So when a city rebels, if you conquer rebels from another civilization, they become free cities, free, which is great. I mean, I don't see the problem with them being free. And then if you reconquer them, you get to give them back. Like, these people clearly didn't want to be part of this civilization. Why would I want to give them back? And this is considered a good action.
Yeah.
And this, why? If that's the case, why name them even free cities? Name them rebellions or whatever. But with free cities, is it bad? Clearly, it's bad to be a free city. So,
I think and this to me also ends up impacting game design in weird way, or at least let's put it like this: immersion in the game.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think one of the things where it breaks down completely is in the governmental system.
Yeah. With
oligarchy, and then basically you've got authoritarianism, and then you have merchant republic, and then it's just all over the place.
It's completely all over the place.
Not only in terms of historical moments, but also in terms of what are actually these things, the ideological nature of these things there.
Yeah.
And then some weird parts of the tech tree that end up being, dead end streets.
Yeah.
That are also at the same time super specific for Reformed Church, and that's the running gag. We didn't go for that.
The only series that we didn't do.
Also, I think it's the Reformed Church. I think is a weird thing because it's such a European development.
Yeah.
It's
only European.
It's only European. It is not even cross religion. The idea of the Reformed Church, like schisms and that sort of stuff. Sure.
Yeah.
Reformation.
No, it's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
And also, church is a very particular type of religious building. Not every religion has a church. They have temples. They have, I don't know.
And it just gets in such a bond, and that's also why I think we in the end, we joked about it, but we also ended up not choosing it because we didn't need it for type of play.
Yeah.
But also we thought, like, why would we even literally as a civilization want to invest in this thing?
Yeah. Why is this important? Why? So, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely this game is...
It's not apolitical.
It's
very political. It has a very clear stance on history. Yeah. And I think one of the things we got to do with this stream is analyze it in several ways, and hopefully we get to analyze it more with different means rather than streams. But this stream has been, I feel like, extremely informative in that regard, and understanding the stance of civilization towards history.
Yeah, for sure. I think another takeaway from me is not so much about the game, but about what we've been doing, is that streaming is damn hard.
Streaming is hard.
From a technical point of view, from a game point of view, from a content point of view, from getting an audience, energy. I'm always super tired after these things. We have roughly an hour beforehand. You often join here. Yeah. And we set stuff up. We talk a little bit.
What are we going to talk today?
Half an hour after that, we're still often talking. Yeah. So it's like 3.5 hours. So it's a good half a day for us.
Shout out to all the streamers who can do this for a living.
Or for struggling to do this. Or just doing it on a daily basis. And
mad respects.
Yeah, mad respects, because we are playing a turn-based game.
Yeah.
And of course we want to bring a certain level of content to it as well.
Yeah.
But I see plenty of, I mean, not necessarily in terms of knowledge content,
Yeah.
but I see plenty of streamers that actually manage to engage an audience, talk about like stuff, like literally stuff, and at the same time, like display some mad skills in the games that they're playing, like real-time games.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah, well, we're sort of have to maneuver. Actually, that's me behind the wheel. I'm sure that you would do a lot better. But
it's I mean,
it is.
It was an experience, and now it says a lot more about. At least because I'm watching a lot of streams, it gave me a lot of insight in the work that these people put
for sure
into their streaming. So
also, any dreams that I ever had of becoming a pro streamer are sort of a little bit down the drain, because getting an audience for this sort of stuff.
We would have to change a lot of things in our lifestyle to become professional streamers.
Yeah. Even though we're now Twitch affiliates.
We are Twitch affiliates. We'll keep streaming, of course.
Yeah.
We will keep streaming.
But it's clear that this is not a platform that will bring us a giant audience with the type of commitment that we can actually give to it as having another profession and doing this by the grace of the people that are actually paying us. Yeah. Or in your case, the time that you actually end up taking off from your PhD.
Not sure.
So that it is not feasible for us at the moment.
But we'll see. We'll continue streaming.
So we will definitely continue streaming, but and we will also very likely stream another series which we're thinking about right now. But we're not gonna. We're not. No, we're not gonna tell them yet. We
sort of discussed it last stream.
A little bit. Just go back to last stream and maybe you'll suss it out.
But there is a chance that there will be another stream next week if we manage to figure out the technicalities, because we will be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the Faculty of Archaeology.
Yeah.
If we figure out the technicalities, we'll stream from there. If not, this would be the wrap-up stream for this season. And
the streaming season,
and from
maybe some stream will still materialize somewhere towards the end of in the middle of January, December.
Maybe unlikely, but definitely we'll be back with a new season with January and with more content, more.
We will be once again streaming the past.
Yeah,
and we will not maybe do it one more turn and one more turn and one more turn, but we will. Do it some other way, and we will definitely keep on exploring the wonderful medium of video games and the wonderful, complex, flawed, beautiful perspectives that they bring on the past.
Exactly.
So, if you've been turning in for the stream, many thanks as always for watching. If you somehow watch this later on YouTube,
thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching, especially if you somehow managed to go through all 30-something hours of this.
Mad respect to that.
Yeah, for sure. Also, mad respect to you, my friend.
We made it.
I've really enjoyed sitting with you and discussing all these things. It was one of the highlights of my year, for sure.
Definitely. So, see you next time.
And hey, play more games.